Okay, first we need to start off with a story. In the story, you'll explain the parsha. But before I say the story, just you have to know one important thing, that the world is made up of Shemus Havaya, and how many tzirufei Shemus Havaya do we have? We have 12, right, that we know of. But if you add in Nekudas, it's 1,088, because there are 9 Nekudas, so it's 9 times 12, so there's 1,088 different tzirufei Havayas. And every tziruf Havaya is shoylet every minute of every hour, because this chalakim in an hour comes out to 1,088, I'm sorry, not 1,200, 1,088. You can do the math, 9 times 12. Okay? Anyways, so the point that I'm trying to show you is that every Maisa that happens that you see Hashgacha Pratis is because every second of every day is a new shlita of a new shem. So there was a yeshiva that was hard up for money, and they had no money, and they had a bank calling the mortgage. They owed $54,000 in a mortgage, and they didn't have money, so they hired an outside fundraiser. And the outside fundraiser, he did everything he could do. He made raffles, and he made Chinese auctions, and he made parlor meetings, and everything that he could do. And he raised a decent amount of money, but it didn't come to the amount that they really needed. So he had an uncle who lived up in Muncie, and he decided, this guy was basically anti-yeshiva in general, and the odds of him getting money from him were not good. But it was a question, either the bank's going to repossess the building and the yeshiva will shut down, or he'll go ask the uncle for money, they'll get bizyonis or whatever it is. So he decided he has nothing to lose but ask for the money. So he drove up to the guy's house, which was like an hour and a half away. And as he's driving on the way, so he got the emergency bathroom attack. And he couldn't continue his ride. So there was no bathrooms on the side of the road. So he decided, that the next exit he's going to get off and he'll drive around until he finds a place that he can do what he has to do. So he goes into a place. It seems like a nice community building. So he goes in there, and they said, he said, I need a bathroom. So they said, I'm sorry, sir, you can't come into this place. It's a funeral chapel, and we're about to conduct a funeral. But I really need to use the facilities. So the guy says, listen, if you sign in your name and your address, then we could let you, because that's what the person who died. It was a Geisha funeral chapel. That's what he wanted, that anyone who comes to the funeral has to sign in their name and address and so forth. So, with the less brera, he signed in, and he signed in, he did what he had to do, and he thanked the guy very much, because he needed what he needed. And then he went on his way, he went up to his uncle. And he comes to the uncle and he says, Uncle, how you doing? The guy looks at him and says, my from Schnarrer relative, all they want to do is come to me for money. He says, yeah, how'd you guess? And so he says, how much do you need today? He says, I need $54,000. He says, $54,000? No problem, I'm going to give you a check. So he takes out his checkbook and his pen and he writes him a check and he gives it to him. He looks at the check, he sees it's $1,000. He says, Uncle, what am I going to do with $1,000? I can't, $1,000 is not going to pay off the bank. I need $54,000, what should I do? He says, listen, this is what I'm giving you. You don't like it, leave. And don't ask me again. So with Les Brera, he took the $1,000 and he left. And he went back to the office of the yeshiva. And everybody's very depressed. The yeshiva's going to shut down. We don't know what to do. So they were preparing that in a couple of days the bank's going to come, throw them out and foreclose on the building and so forth. The the next day or two, they get a letter in the mail, and the mail, it says like this, that the funeral that he happened to walk into, the guy left in his will, he said, since he had no relatives, he was a single person, he had no children, so he left that anyone who comes to the funeral is going to get an equal share in his inheritance. And said, since there were very few people, and the guy had a decent amount of money, and you, Rabbi, were one of the people who signed up that you attended the funeral with your address, and inside was a check for $53,000, plus the $1,000 he got from his uncle, so we're able to pay off. And so, of course, it's a nice story and everything else. Probably it's true also. What's the point? The point is that you see the Ashkacha. What was the Ashkacha? Of the 1,088 regalim in every hour, the Rebbeinu Shalom was watching. The yeshiva couldn't close down, didn't let it close down, it made him go to the bathroom. And Punkti decided to get over there. And then everything worked out exactly the way it's supposed to be. And that, leading to the Parsha, this is the first, coming up, is the first one of, this is really the laning for Parsha Shkolim. Kisisa es Rosh B'nai Yisrael. Now, first question is that if you look in Sefer Yetzirah, it starts off with numbers. What's the numbers? The first Mishnah is that there are three, it breaks the Aleph Beis down into three parts. First part is called Imais, which is the letters of Aleph, Mem, Shin, and those are called Imais because it also stands for Eish, Avir, Eish, Mayim, which those are the things that the world was created with. This next step is what we call Beged Kafris, which is Kfelim, that each one of those letters has a Beis and a Gimel, a Beis is a Beis and a Beis, and by Sfardim a Gimel is a Gimel and a Gimel, and a Dalet also has two, right? A Kaf is a Kaf and a Chaf, a Reish is brought down as a double, but we don't really know what it is, but Beged Kafris, all those letters have doubles, right? And then there's 12 more, right? And each one of those, three, as we know, is Tlas Klilim B'Tlas. There's always three. Chesed and Rachamim, everything is three. In 7, we know, there's 7 days of the week. What's the Sherish of the 7 days of the week? Is these 7 Oisias. And same thing with Sheva Shnasa Shmita. And then the last of the Aleph Beis is Yud Beis. What's the Yud Beis? The Yud Beis is the 12 Yechidos. In other words, that these letters in the Aleph Beis have no double, have no special characteristic to them. The abbreviation is Hais Chati Lana Satzak, which is just 12 letters, which is Hey, Vav, Zayin, and so forth. And these 12 is Keneged Yud Beis Shvatim, Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim, and HaKoil, and so forth. Where does this thing of Dalet Pashis, where does that come in? You have Dalet Kaisis, where does it all come in? So the shirish of all of that is Shem Havaya. For Isaias, Shem Havaya, that's the shirish of all the fours. Now, if you go over here, in the Dalet Pashis, so brought down in the Zohar, in the Dalet Pashis, the Shem that goes with the Dalet Pashis is Shem Havaya backwards. In other words, it's Hey, Vav, Hey, Yud, backwards. Why is it like that? Because we know that in the Shem Havaya, you have the first thing is Yud, which is Chachmel Yaina, right? That's the first Eisen Shem Havaya. Everybody knows that, which is Keneged Parshas Chodesh. Because Chodesh Hazel Lechem Rosh Chodashim. Where's the Rosh? Machshava is in the Rosh. So the Yud of Shem Havaya is in the Rosh. The Hey is Keneged what? The second Hey is Keneged the Zav, which is the Shishuk Tzavos, right? And that's Zachar. So Parshas Zachar, which is Miloshin Zachar, is in the Vav of the Shem Havaya, right? And then the first Hey is Keneged Bina. Am I going in the right order? I think I'm going in the right order. I'm really going backwards. Second. Okay, the Hey, I'll do it the regular. The Hey Achrein is Keneged the Malchus with the Shem Adnos, right? And in Shkolim, there was, why is it called Shem Adnos? Why is it over here that way? Because there was Adnei Kesef Miloshin Adnos. So that's what the Kesef was used for. So that's why, explaining why Shkolim is Rishon, because the Hey in the Shem Havaya Behipuch is the first one, which is Keneged, the Aleph of Adnos. The Kedushas Levi talks about it also a little bit. So the highest one, which is the Yud, which is Lamayla Al Kulam, is Arach Anpin, which is Keneged Eis Aleph, which that's Bilti Musig Lek Tachtainim. Now, if we take the words Shakla, Vitaria, right? So Shakla is coming from the word Shekel, right? So if you take the Shekel plus the Aleph of the Arach Anpin, so that's Merumaz and Torah Shebal Peh, which is strictly b'machshava. So that's the Shakla of Shakla Vitaria. And why did we collect the Shkolim, the Shekel Lagol Gailes? To keep us away from Agefa. Tarya in Aramish is Miloshin Refuah. And so the Tarya, so you have the Shakla, which is the Torah Shebal Peh, and which is Anegal Hashem, when we learn, and the Tarya is the Refuah. So, and as you know, what was the purpose of the Shkolim? Why didn't we count people direct? In order to keep away a nega, in order to keep away a magefa. So, by us saying that the Shakla, the Tarya, is, in other words, is the prevention, the learning of the Torah is the prevention of a magefa, and it's merumas in the shekel HaKodesh that we collected a shekel, which is miloshin shakla v'tarya, that's the refuah. And as you know, ein lamayla miyayneg, ve'ein lamata minega, and nega is magefa. So if you learn Torah, so then what's the ayneg of Torah? Is lisanig, a person is created, lisanig al Hashem, which is Torah. So ein lamata miyayneg. And then, okay, so it's also, that's why you give machzis hashekel, because half of it, just like you have a chibur bein guf l'neshama, so over here also you have chelik it goes for the neshama, that's the inyan of the shakla. In other words, that's the learning part, and the tarya is the guf, to have a refuah for the guf. That's the shakla and the tarya. That's why it's tafka machzis hashekel, because it's two separate parts, because each one will work for the other one. Also, just agav, it comes out that the gematria of shekel twice, because each one was a machatzis hashekel. So shekel is 3, how much is 3? 30, right? No, 430, right? 2 times 430 is 860. 860 is Elikim times 10, right? So if you take the mispar katan of Elikim, which is 86, right? So we don't want it to have a Shem Elikim because that's a Midas Hadin. So therefore we cut it in half and make it a Machzis HaShekel. So you won't have a complete Shem Elikim.